Today I wanted to introduce you to our field of sunflowers. This is an extension to our farm diversification, and a few weeks ago I went up to Merseyside and met up with Olly Harrison, where he is growing sunflowers, and there's quite a lot of farmers doing it now right across the UK for people to come and enjoy. I've just come with Olly down into one of his fields where he's growing all these beautiful sunflowers. Tell me about these then, Olly.
Yeah, so I've grown them for about 4 years now, maybe 5. The last 2 years we've opened it as a maze, so we've raised a lot of money for charity. This year it's clashed with harvest. I've not really been able to do it as a maze. They're not quite tall enough, they're very short this year. The second field didn't grow either, so I was a bit disappointed, so I just decided I'll just mow a short path around it, open it up. People want to come and take some pictures, they can leave a donation. We're collecting for Ukrainian aid, and then I'll combine them.
We grow sunflowers at home, but I have to say they've been very difficult to grow. Lots of slugs got them to start off with.
Slugs absolutely love them, and then crows start eating them as soon as they're up as well. Yeah. And last year we had hares just eating the top of them so they fall over so that they could see.
Incredible.
But when they do that, I can't just see one, but they sprout small heads.
Yes.
So you get like 6 heads on one plant because the main head's been cut off.
So we've got wildflower fields that we grow for seed that we sell to other farmers through a company called Bright Seed. We've got the sunflowers, and then we also do a potato patch where people go and dig their own potatoes. So yeah. Good potato land here, you should be doing that.
To be honest, last year and the year before we grew sweet corn as well, and it was lovely. But this year it's all about wheat this year. We need to make some money.
Now this man is Mr. Diversification, aren't you? So tell me all the different things that you've diversified into.
I have to write them down. Let me get my phone out. I can't remember. There's 14 different income streams. Let me just work it out now. You ready?
Yeah.
Farming, contracting, office space, solar panels, grain storage, grain drying, a small animal hotel, green waste recycling, hire out motorhomes, private dog fields, holiday homes, a little bit of storage space, YouTube, which is quite a big income now. We do a bit of soil recycling, the sunflower maze, a little bit of machinery hire, seed socks for emptying your corn drill. I've got a couple of house lets and now merchandise.
That's me. It's all go. And noisy planes as well. Go away, you horrible plane.
We're quite close to Liverpool Airport. Yeah, and I think they're probably taking pictures of the sunflowers because there's a big sunflower mode into it. So it's probably, if you're learning to fly a plane, it's a tourist attraction.
Absolutely brilliant. My dad diversified the farm here back in 1971 when he opened the Cotswold Farm Park, really to showcase his collection of rare farm animals. And now we get a lot of paying visitors coming to look at all our beautiful rare breeds, and we continue his legacy, really preserving and conserving those animals. But also, this is an extension of the Cotswold Farm Park with all these lovely sunflowers, and they are extraordinary plants. Let's take a closer look and I'll tell you a little bit more. So out here, we've got 7,500 square meters of sunflowers. We planted 75,000 sunflower seeds. And in fact, the first lot we planted got eaten by the slugs and the rooks and the pigeons. So we had to replant them. And from those 75,000 seeds, we get about 100,000 sunflowers. And when they were young, we covered them in horticultural fleece, and that stops the predators from going down and eating them, but also encourages their growth and keeps them warm. Of course, in the drought, a lot of some people's sunflowers came very, very early and they went over very fast. But because ours were a little bit later, and now the weather's cooled down, it looks like they're going to last quite a long time, probably about 8 weeks. And though these were planted around about the 1st of June, they've now burst into flower over the last week, just in time for the summer holidays for lots of people to come along and enjoy them. And they're an amazing source of nectar for all the pollinators. They're just full of bees, there's butterflies and all sorts of other insects out there. And because of the drought we've had this summer, a lot of the wildflowers have died off, they've gone over. So these are a beautiful feed source for all the bees and butterflies and other insects that are nearby. In fact, over in the woods, we've got some beehives because we do beekeeping courses with Chris Wells, our local bee farmer, runs the courses there. And so we've got some hives in the woods and they're all out enjoying the sunflowers. It's really beautiful. And I'm no botanist, but they're from the daisy family. And the Latin name is helianthus. So helia meaning sun and anthus flower. And in fact, there's very few flowers that have flower in their name. The sunflower being one, cornflower is another one I know. You'll have to look it up and see how many you can find. And I'm no mathematician either, but it has this amazing mathematical sequence called the Fibonacci sequence. Again, you need to look that up. And although it looks like one single flower, it's actually made up of about 1,000 flowers inside. They originate from North America. In fact, the native Indians would have used them for food and for oils. And of course, they're the Ukraine's national flower. And 80% of the world's sunflower oil comes out of the Ukraine. So with the tragic war that's going on over there at the moment, there's a problem getting that sunflower oil out, which is why the price of oil has gone up in the supermarkets. And so when you produce the little black seeds that can be harvested, obviously you often see them in budgerigar cages and stuff like that for birdseed. But when it's crushed to produce sunflower oil, it's absolutely delicious. Not only for cooking, but it's also used for softening leather, and it can be used in shampoo too. So another plant that we grow in this field that aren't quite as beautiful as the sunflowers are potatoes. And we ridge them up. So you have these ridges that you plant a seed potato into, and then the plant grows, and on its root it grows tubers, the potatoes. And what we do is we go through and flail off all the green, or it dies down naturally, and then the potatoes are ready to dig. And we open this field up in the middle of September. So if you're growing potatoes and you see all the leaf has died off like this, you might think, oh no, what's gone wrong? But actually, that's just part of its natural cycle. And if you dig down, you very quickly get to some potatoes. And this is a variety called Red Skin Desiree. Beautiful for cooking. So when people come to the Cotswold Farm Park, we give them a wheelbarrow and a fork and a paper bag and say, off you go out into the potato patch, you can go and dig your own potatoes. And I love that. People of all ages, particularly young people, learning about where their food comes from, knowing that you have to dig down to find potatoes and how they grow. So of course we'll all eat chips and mash and roast potatoes and crisps, but actually how many people don't know where potatoes come from? I'd wager quite a few. One of the things that we're very keen on in the UK, particularly in agriculture now, is to increase the biodiversity, the wildlife that we have. And a lot of that is down to increasing the number of pollinators that we have, the bees and butterflies and insects. And of course, those pollinators need flowers. And so in farming, we're being encouraged to plant wildflower meadows and have margins around the side of our arable fields with these beautiful wildflowers. So here in our events field at the Cotswold Farm Park, we have these plots full of wildflowers for people to enjoy their splendour, but also we harvest them. So once these flowers have gone over and set seed, we come in here with a very small combine harvester called a plot combine, because it's quite little, and it comes in here and harvests all the seeds. And then those are sold off to other farmers around the country, but also county councils that plant them on the verges and on roundabouts. Just a big effort nationally to try and increase our flowers, to increase the pollinators. And I just love it. I think they look absolutely beautiful. Despite the drought and them actually going over very quickly, there's still some really lovely flowers in here. Adjacent to our sunflower field is our Maize Maze. And of course this is maize, or some people might know it as corn on the cob. And maize is grown all over the world, a lot of it in America and warmer countries. In fact, so the warm weather we've had this year has suited the maize quite well, although it didn't really like the drought. And it should be a bit taller, but it's still quite exciting if you're little, running amongst the paths in the maize. And each plant will have the chance of growing a cob. So if I show you on this one, it's set flower, and then in here is a baby that will fill out as the plant matures. If I take off all the leaves, break my way in, there we go. Inside there is a baby corn on the cob. There we are. And this will grow to be 4 times the size. And then when the maize is finished with all our visitors, we'll come in here with a forage harvester that will chop up the plant, all the stem, the leaves and the cobs, and we'll turn that into silage to feed the sheep and cattle during the winter. So often, as you're driving around the UK, you'll see fields of maize like this, and it's generally grown for silage production for livestock. The corn and the cob production is more likely to come from America and South America. Because we've got about 100,000 sunflowers, there's plenty for us to enjoy and look at, and loads for the insects, all the bees pollinating them, but also enough to cut some to take home to enjoy on your kitchen table. So which ones should you be cutting? Obviously the ones that are starting to lose their petals and set their seed, you wouldn't want those. You might come to one that's beautiful like this and think that's perfect, but actually the ones you should be going for are the ones that have just started to open. Because when you get them home into the warmth of your kitchen, they'll open up over the next few days and be in their full glory. So the way to do it is to snip them about 24 inches from the bottom at a 45-degree angle, like that, and there we are. There's your sunflower. Let's see, that's a dead one. We'll chop that one down. There's another one that's going to be nice. So once you've run around the maze and hopefully not got lost and catch your sunflowers and wrap them up, you can take them home and then perhaps gift them, because they're known as a happy flower, so you can give someone a little bit of joy.